How's it going, ladies and gents? You're here again with the Bearded Asian. I've got two classic JDM legends for you guys to look at today. They're from Midnight JDM Car Imports. Now, if you're looking at importing a Japanese car, a JDM car, or any car of sort, you can come down to Smithfield, hit up the boys from Midnight JDM Car Imports, and they'll import you something. But for today's video, we've got this RX7, this R32 GTR. We're gonna take it for a drive. We're gonna show you close-ups of the car, and we're gonna talk about how these two cars played a major role in Australian motorsport history. You know, this car being a Type R Bathurst model, and you know, the infamous R32 GTR. So stay tuned. First up of the classic JDM legends, we have this beautiful yellow RX7 here today. This particular car we have here today is a Type R Bathurst model. So very fitting for the occasion. I'm going to talk about how this car impacted Bathurst and how it got its name and things like that. So yeah, we're going to talk about the engine as well. I'll give you guys a bit of educational history on the car. So the rotary came from a bloke named Felix Wankel, a German bloke. He then, when he invented the rotary engine, he went to go on to patent it with a company called NSU. Now, NSU was like an engine sort of builder, sort of manufacturer sort of thing. So he patents the motor with them, and then NSU went on to develop the engine, the rotary engine, as you could say. So when NSU sort of developed it, and as it came along, it sort of caught the eye of the president of Mazda in the 60s. So the president of Mazda talked with the Japanese government. They sort of agreed to sign a contract with NSU for the patent of the rotary engine. So Mazda then took that patent, took the design. They developed their own rotary engine, and they sort of did a lot of testing from, I think it was like the early 1960s, all the way until 1967. So 1967, the Mazda Cosmo was released. And then, yeah, so that was Mazda's first production car to have a rotary engine. That car currently holds a 10A. It's a very rare car. Maybe the Midnight JDM Car Import boys might import one day. You never know. But yeah, today we have this RX7. It's a Series 8 Bathurst edition. There's only 500 of them made. So yeah, we're going to be taking this for a bit of a drive. You're going to hear some cool sounds and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you guys shortly. So guys, we're in the RX7. We're going to be taking the RX7 for a bit of a drive. We're going to talk about, you know, how the car, or why this car is called the Bathurst Edition, and you know, how it got its name, and yeah, just give you guys a bit of an insight on what it's like to drive an RX7. So I've driven this many times before already, as you've probably seen in one of my first videos, and I'd also like to mention I've hit 100 subscribers. Now, all you guys watching, I really appreciate you guys subscribing. I love all of you guys. I'm trying to, you know, up my game and do some better content for you. So I've got a lot of stuff lined up. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. Click that bell icon. You know, you get the latest update on my newest video. But back on this RX7. So this RX7 is a Bathurst edition, like I've said many times in the video already. I'm probably repeating myself. You guys are getting bored, but fuck that. Nah. But yeah, so this is a Bathurst edition. It's one of 500. Being a yellow color, it's pretty special as well. Like as you guys seen before, it's got that initial D vibe. You even see the bloke that drives it in the anime. You know, if you follow your cars, you have to have watched Initial D. So yeah, this car, it's a very special car to drive. I mean, you know, since I was a young kid, you know, playing Gran Turismo, watching Initial D, like I've dreamt of driving cars like this. You know what I mean? Like I used to read magazines in high school in roll call and shit, like looking at the cars, being like, you know, dreaming of owning one day. You know, so yeah, this is living the dream. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, back to the topic of Bathurst. Now, back in, I think it was in 92 to 94, the car, when the RX7 Series 6 was first produced, they entered it into Bathurst, the Bathurst 12-hour. Now, when it entered in Bathurst 12-hour, 92, 93, 94, it won 3 consecutive years in a row. Now, in 2002, I think they announced the last production numbers of the Series 8 RX7, which is practically the same look as the Series 6, but you know, with a few differences, you know, like lights and, you know, updated engine things and that. But yeah, so 92 to 94, the RX7 won 12-hour Bathurst. And in 2002, when they decided to sort of cull the RX7 because of emissions and being a rotary, you know, rotaries pump emissions, like they you know, the fumes are crazy from rotaries. So, you know, the rotaries engines sort of couldn't continue because of the emission laws and all that boring crap, you know. Like if you're a green and a supporter, like that probably, you know, tickles your fancy, but you know, like for the cars, it's a no-go. But yeah, that's my opinion anyways, you know, like it's the emissions and sort of saving the planet has sort of like ruined cars like this, you know what I mean? Because if you look at the RX8, the RX8's all about, you know, fuel economy and saving fuel, better for the planet. Fuck the planet. That's fun. Alex also gave me the green light to sort of push this thing, you know what I mean? So I'm glad I got to experience that. So yeah, on up next on the menu, we're gonna head back to where we were, and yeah, next up on the menu is the Godzilla. Like I said, next up on the menu, we've got this Godzilla. So R32 GTR. A lot of people like to name it Godzilla. I'm going to tell you guys a bit about how that name came about. So we Aussies invented that name for the infamous R32 GTR. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys a bit of info on that a bit later. This Godzilla we have here today, so I'm gonna give you guys a bit of history, specs and things like that. So as you all know, the R32 GTR, RB26 under the bonnet, 2.6 litre, inline 6 with a twin turbocharged engine. Now these come with about, you could say about 280 horsepower from factory. Now with all the Japanese classic JDMs, they all came around the 280 horsepower. Why? is because there was a thing back then where there was a lot of aftermarket support for these cars. So in terms of tuning and things like that, there was sort of like a gentleman's agreement that they call it, for all the Japanese manufacturers to have their sports cars capped at 280 horsepower. Now correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know too much about that, why that is, but yeah, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Like us Aussies say, it is what it is. But yeah, if you come around here, you know, come closer, this car's, it's fairly decked out. 57 DR, I think they're called, Rays, wrapped in the Nankangs. If you come, or as you've guys seen in the video already, you look inside the car, it's all decked out in Nismo. It's got the Nismo seats, and Nismo gear lever, Nismo steering wheel. It's got decked out of all the gauges, so you can monitor all your temps and this and that. The under the bonnet of this car actually really looks good. Alex has, you know, spruced it up a bit, made it like all nice and clean. I'll show you guys now. It looks really good, very nice. There you go. All right, get ready for it, lads. Wow. That's really nice, isn't it? Definitely a step up from stock. Yeah, it's got the Apexy air filters as well. But yeah, so this particular car, this particular Godzilla, I should say, is a 94 model. So it's a Series 2. It's got the high cast 4-wheel steer. I know a lot of guys that modified these, they take the high cast out because it's dangerous and whatnot. Like, I haven't pushed this car to its limits before, so I wouldn't know, you know, how that would react. But yeah, we're going to be taking it for a drive. We're going to talk about its Australian motorsport history, like I said, how it got the Godzilla name and all that. So yeah, I'll see you guys shortly. So you're with the bearded Asian, you're riding in the GTR. Like I promised you guys, we're taking it for a drive, back to back with the RX7. Hey, how hectic is that? Seriously, you know, many people dream of driving cars like this. As you know, being a '90s kid, you know, growing up playing Gran Turismo, like I said before, with the RX7, and you even watching Initial D, you know, you just dream of driving things like this when you grow up. So, but getting back on topic, so R32 GTR Godzilla, what can I tell you about it? So Godzilla, the name was invented by the Aussie media. So back in the 90s, when the GTR was produced, it sort of came in like a storm, you know, like when it came through, a lot of people were like, wow, you know, this car, inline six, twin turbo, all-wheel drive, you know, like the thing could perform flawlessly, you know what I mean, with that combination. So when the Australian Touring Car Championship, the ATCC, when they were running their races, the Gibson Motorsport had a R31 Skyline. Now the GTR came from the Hakosuka. All right, so the GTR was invented back in '71, but they didn't make another GTR until I think it was '88 or '89. This car was released. So they didn't make another GTR until this car. So this car, it's like in its pinnacle form, you know what I mean, of engineering at the time. Like there was even talks about Nissan buying a Porsche 959. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but there is rumors about them buying a Porsche 959 back in the 80s to do a bit of development to build this car. Now, you know, those rumors could be true. They're both 6 cylinders, they're both twin turbo, they're both all-wheel drive. But getting back on topic with Gibson Motorsport. Now, Gibson Motorsport imported one of these from Japan in Group A trim. Now the car was a Nismo Group A race car. They imported it from Japan. Now when it came from Japan, like they did a lot of their own things to it, like put their turbos. So they developed the car when the car was in racing. So as the races went on, the car got better. So in its peak form, Gibson Motorsport tuned this car, no, not this car particularly, but you know, the same model of car to about 700 horsepower. Now, you know, if you do a bit of track racing and things like that, 700 horsepower is a handful of power to have on the track. You know, like you'd be pulling some hectic times and whatnot. But yeah, when this car came about, you know, it demolished its competition. You know, even the Australian fans, the Holden and Ford fans, they didn't like it because, you know, an un-Australian car can't win races in Australia. You know, it's un-Australian for an un-Australian car to win races in Australia. You know, the hype with Ford and Holden back then, you know, that they had a lot of very strong supporters. Bathurst was a very, you could say, a very Aussie event. So, you know, like the Aussies, they supported the Holden and Ford a lot more than you know, the Japanese car makers. So, you know, when in I think it was in '92, there's a very controversial race in Bathurst where, you know, they awarded the podium finish, like, so the first place, to an R32 GTR, but that R32 GTR had crashed. Now, you know, I don't know the specifics onto that race, but you know, I know that when Mark Scaife and Jim Richards came to get their trophies, they were booed. Like, you know, the whole crowd was booing them. You know, Jim Richards called the crowd a pack of arseholes. Maybe because, you know, in my eyes, they didn't seem it fair being a Japanese car to win such an Australian event. So the following year, this car actually got banned, but not the car itself got banned. So they changed the rules to ultimately becoming V8 supercars. So the races now. So back in ATCC, they had a whole range of different cars racing, from GTRs to Corollas to Suzuki Swifts. You know, your Series 2 RX7s, things like that. So yeah, they ultimately changed the rules that you had to have like a V8 with a rear-wheel drive layout, 4-door sedan. So it was ultimately Ford and Holden had that combination. So, you know, which is now what you see on the telly. Well, now it's Camaros and Mustangs, but they're not even Camaros and Mustangs. You know, they're just like they're just standard, like they're not standard, but they're factory-built race cars. So they're purposely built for the track. So they don't get like a production model and sort of build it from there. It's ground up, chassis, everything, full race spec. You know, so. But yeah, like getting back on topic, like I'm drifting off too far. This GTR here, like, you know, it's an amazing machine. It's definitely a piece of history. And getting back on topic with the Godzilla, so after it demolished the competition, you know, it got banned from the V8 supercars. The Australian media called it Godzilla, being Japanese anime, like sort of monster sort of thing. You know what I mean? I had a lot of reference to that, this car. So yeah, guys, like, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed my little drive of this GTR. I thank you guys again for the 100 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys following my channel. Like I said, I'm trying my best to have all this hectic, like mad cars and bikes and things like that lined up for you guys. So yeah, like, have I missed anything? This GTR, amazing machine, bit of Japanese history. you know. So like I keep raveling on about the car, like, yeah, how good does it look? You know, the gauges and things like that. It looks bloody epic. I'm gonna show you guys how this thing pulls, if you bear with me a little bit. But yeah, it's a dream come true, you know, driving these kind of cars. Like when I was a kid, you know, even playing like games, when you go to play games, you pick the car like this, you know what I mean? Even when you're growing up and you see one coming down the road, you can't miss it, you know? I really thank Alex. Alex is a legend for, you know, letting me cruise these things and trusting me with it. And like I said, boys and girls, Midnight JDM car imports, you know, if you're really looking at getting into an import or even anything of sort, you know, low riders, things like that, come down and see the Midnight JDM car import, boys. Have a listen to this. So yeah, guys and girls, I hope you liked my video. I'm gonna have to cut it there. If you like the bearded Asian, you like the cars, you like the bikes, subscribe to my channel. Click the like button, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Don't be shy. Till the next one, ladies and gents. So lads, I know we've ended the video, but check out what I'm driving. Check out what I'm driving back. If you watch the whole video, you'd recognize it. It's the Mazda RX7, 1 of 10 in the world, with the original body kit. So if you guys can see that, but we just ended the video on those two bad boys. Now we're cruising this bad boy back. Hey?